WION has exclusive footage of Chinese construction equipment which has been left behind by construction crew in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh in Tuting area. WION has accessed the material evidence of the Chinese intrusion. Seen here on your television screen is an abandoned bulldozer and other road-laying equipment the Chinese left behind when they were challenged by an Indian border patrol. WION had reported on the very same incident on the 28th of December 2017. A border patrol in the Tuting area noticed a construction crew laying down a road on the Indian side of the line of actual control. They were about a kilometer inside India. They turned out at the end to be Chinese civilians who fled to their side of the border when challenged by the patrol. They left their road-building equipment behind. Let's now take a look at what exactly happened in Tuting. Sources said that the depth of the intrusion was 1 kilometer. The civilians were identified as Chinese nationals. The Indian patrol, ordered them out of the area and the Chinese nationals complied, returning to their side of the border. Sources also say that Chinese construction equipment remains on the Indian side. This activity was observed in the area of Tuting in Arunachal Pradesh, Upper Siang district, which is where roughly the Brahmaputra enters India from Tibet. Tuting is an important place for India. In fact, it is a very important location located on proposed Mago Tingbu Vijaynagar Arunachal Pradesh Frontier Highway. Earlier, we had the chance to speak with the man who sent to WION this very footage that you're watching on your television screen, Mr. Maxen Tayang, who is a local resident, a man from Arunachal Pradesh. Take a look at what he had to say.
Chinese intrusion into Arunachal Pradesh has always been taken very seriously by the locals of our Arunachal Pradesh, because we have never considered ourselves as a part of China, and even though China has been claiming over Arunachal Pradesh, this is a complete nonsense, and people of Arunachal Pradesh have always opposed the Chinese movement whenever they happen to cross over to Arunachal Pradesh. And this recent development has also again been strongly condemned and opposed by our local people. And on video footage, you can completely see that our local boys, as porters, they have helped the Indian army, and they even try to destroy that ark mover. So we have been strongly opposing Chinese intrusion into Arunachal Pradesh, and our Indian troops, Indian armies are very strongly deployed at the jailing site along the Megmon line, and they could be successful in pushing them back. It is very important to mention here that even though Chinese could able to build their expressway near the border with India, our Indian government could not able to build such a strong roadway till date. So that is the difficulties facing from our Indian troops, and they could lately identify the actual construction going on there in Indian territory. So now our local people of Arunachal Pradesh, they are also constantly feeling that our Indian government should accelerate construction of strong and expressway along the India-China border. And Trans-Arunachal Highway construction is going on right now, but it is in slow pace. So this has to be accelerated, and the communication, especially the road communication toward the border, should be built strongly. And because of that very poor connectivity, our local people settling along Indo-China border are also migrating downward toward the main cities. So, Government of India, especially Prime Minister Narendra Modi, should give extra importance for construction of road connectivity toward that border side. So, just because of that poor road network, our Indian troops could not identify the actual construction going on till now. So, they could identify after construction of around 1 kilometer inside Indian territory on 28th December. So, this can be restricted in future only after our Indian government construct our road strong good strong road and toward China's border, and this will help restricting Chinese movement inside Indian territory in future.
And for more on this story, we are joined tonight on the broadcast by our senior editor, Surya Gangadharan. Surya, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Despite every time there is a diplomatic solution, China keeps needling India, and it has been doing so for decades, I would say. What is the strategy behind it? Why does China keep needling India with borders incursions?
Well, I think, Daniele, plain and simple, China sees India as a rival for the Asian strategic space. And after Doklam, when for the first time you saw India, in a sense, standing up to China, and that too in a third country, in a neighbor, I think the Chinese are getting a sense that India needs to be watched more carefully and needs to be dealt with more carefully. So although a dialogue will continue at various levels, NSA, Foreign Minister, Special Representative of the border, at the same time, I think on the ground, those pinpricks will continue, because China sees him as a way of keeping India off balance, and perhaps at some level it also gives them leverage. And as you're aware, the infrastructure on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in Tibet is far better than what India has along its side of the line of actual control. So in that sense, we are a bit of a disadvantage. We are trying to make up, but this is a long road ahead. And given our own deficiencies in mobilizing men and materials together, I think it will be some time before we are able to say that we can match the Chinese infrastructure on the ground.